Hey guys, we're just now finishing up on the barnwood headboard. In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn your old barnwood into something beautiful, and we're going to add something extra, a set of lights with a dimmer switch and a pocket for your remotes. Let's build something. This build is going to be for a friend of mine whose grandfather had a 100-year-old barn that they had to tear down. And he asked if I could build something out of it, and we talked about it for a few minutes and decided we'd build a headboard. The headboard is made out of this old barn wood, and we have to tear or trim the barn wood down to make it where we can thickness plane it through my D-Walk thickness planer. The thickness planer is only 13 inches wide, 13 and a half I think. So we cut them down. We're going to make each plank that's going on the barnwood headboard a different size so that it's not exactly uniform. And they'll also be at a different height. So the first thing we're going to do is mill up the stock to get it cut down to the right size that we want to work with. And we're going to use this, the domino. This is a XL domino. And if you don't have one, I started out using a dowel jig. I've also used the bead lock system. I've used quite a few things over the years, and I kept saving up until I could afford the domino machine, and it does a great job. It makes quick work of it and simplifies so much. So if you don't have one, save up for one. Just keep saving. You'll get there soon. You'll get there. But the domino jig, I'm using it to put my stretchers in. This is a Douglas fir post. Now the post is going to be wrapped in the old barn wood, and but we're going to put our stretchers right into the side using the dominoes, and it's incredible how much weight is going to be on this bed. It's a fairly large headboard, and the amount of weight that the stretchers will be holding is pretty impressive. So, but when I was putting the stretchers into the post, I started to go with bar clamps. Bar clamps put a lot of incredible clamping power at your disposal. And but instead I went with ratchets. When I would clamp down with the bar clamps, it would make my stretchers turn into a horseshoe. And so I ended up going and getting these ratchet straps that are used for furniture. I've used them quite a few times, and put them on on the stretchers and post and pulled them together, snugged them up, and when I turned it loose, it was perfect. Here we go hammering in. You might be able to see the hands of my wife there. We're a family-owned business, and we all work in the shop. From time to time, you'll see myself, my wife, or either of my sons. They'll be in there. And it makes it a little more fun and entertaining to have someone in there with you, plus an extra set of hands when you need it. These are the boards that we've milled up. We've got them set at the right height at the bottom, and you can tell that they're at different heights at the top. Each one we'll remove, and we'll use Titebond glue to glue them down. Then we'll brad nail them. And we're also going to go one more step, and you'll see it in a minute. We're going to screw them from behind to make sure that they are solid. And we wanted to make sure. Now the weight, I talked about that a while ago. You can see I've got my two sons in there with me now, and we're standing this up. It's incredible how heavy it is. And it takes me and one of my sons, usually three of us, to move this around. There I am screwing in from behind the stretchers into the back of the slats, and we're going to lay it back down on what we call the operating table. The operating table is on wheels. If you work in a small shop like I do, everything you own is on wheels. But this is the workbench, the operating table, and you're going to notice in a minute I'm going to climb up on top of it. These are the some more of the barn wood, and we cut them down to strips to fit the post. And we're going to wrap this Douglas fir post in the barn wood. And when we get done, it's going to look just like his grandfather's old barn. Now, in a minute, like I said, I'm going to be climbing up on top of the operating table. because I'm going to build a box. This is the box I'm building. It's going to go on the back of the headboard, and we're going to trim it out, cut it out in the front and trim it out. And this is a place for his remotes to go. When we were talking about building this barnwood headboard, I asked him, what all, if you could dream up anything, what would you want on there? And he said, you know, I'd really like a place to put my remote so that I can just put them in the headboard and they don't get knocked off the side table. And then he said, you know, a set of lights would be good. So we've got another video coming up soon. It's part 2 of the headboard build. And the second video will show you how I installed the lights on this headboard. So stay tuned for that, look for that. But this is me using the jigsaw to cut out the box. I'm also going to use a palm router, and then I'm going to trim it out. I put the box in, and these will hold all of his remotes. This the size was to his specification. I believe he had 3 remotes and wanted to make sure all 3 would fit in there. This is the base. We're putting the base on, and this, you can see my wife and I are working together again, and we're able to enjoy time in the shop together. And she eyeballed it for me, and then I'm going to use the brad nailer to put it in there. We just installed a new air system in the shop, and so we've upgraded our brad nailers, and in a minute you'll see her blowing off the headboard, getting all the dust off of it before she's going to seal it. And I've waited a long time to upgrade to an air system, finally did, and love it. This is the sealer that we're going to use. Be looking for part 2 of this video build, because in part 2 I'm going to show you how I installed the lights. It'll be coming out in the next couple of days. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment. I'll get right back with you. We'll see you next time.